It had been 3 weeks since the night of the whispering pot. 3 quiet weeks of laughter, color, and the sweet smell of pepper stew floating through our compound once again. The villagers came back. Children chased goats around our yard, and the sound of wooden spoons clanging against pots became music again. Mama Gift's joy had returned, or so I thought. But sometimes, when the firelight touched her face just right, I would see it. A shadow behind her smile. A tiredness she tried to hide. Her laugh was still loud, her food still perfect, but her body had grown weaker. I saw her grip the table when she thought no one was watching. Her hands trembled when she pounded yam. And sometimes, when the wind blew softly at night, she would whisper to the empty air, "I can hear you, my love. Not yet. Not yet." The chief's messenger arrived one bright afternoon, bringing news that sent the whole village dancing. "Mama Gift," he called, bowing deeply. "The chief has chosen you to prepare the grand harvest feast." The crowd cheered, drummers began to beat their talking drums, and women ululated so loud that even the gods stopped eating to stare. Mama smiled humbly, pressing her palms together. "It will be my honor," she said. But when she turned toward me, her eyes were wet. Later that evening, when the noise had faded, she sat by the fire and said softly, "This will be my last feast, Amara." I frowned. "Mama, don't say that. You'll cook for many more." She smiled faintly. "You don't understand. Every gift has its season. The spirit that gives it must rest, and so must I." Her words sat heavy in my chest like unripe plantain. I wanted to believe she was only tired, but deep down I knew what she meant. Preparations for the feast began before sunrise the next day. The whole village moved like a single heartbeat, pounding, chopping, washing, grinding. Women in bright wrappers carried baskets of cassava and tomatoes on their heads, their laughter echoing through the air. Men fetched firewood and slaughtered goats for the stew. Children ran errands, singing the harvest song that filled the sky with joy. And in the middle of it all stood Mama Gift, graceful, commanding, glowing with quiet strength. I stood beside her, chopping vegetables, grinding pepper, stirring pots. But each time she lifted the lid of her special pot, I saw something strange. A faint blue light that pulsed like breath. The pot was alive again. The spirits were watching. That night, after everyone had gone home, I found Mama sitting by the fire alone. The moonlight painted her in silver, her shadow long and soft behind her. "Mama," I whispered, "shouldn't you rest?" She didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the fire, her lips moving in silent prayer. I went closer and knelt beside her. "Are you talking to Papa again?" She smiled faintly. "He is never far. Tonight, I feel him more than ever." Her voice quivered, and for the first time I saw fear in her eyes. "Amara," she said, taking my hands, "promise me something." "What is it, Mama?" "When I am gone, keep the pot, but never use it in greed. Cook only with love. The Spirit bless those who feed others with clean hearts." I swallowed hard. "You're not going anywhere." But she only smiled, brushed my cheek, and whispered, "Every fire must one day rest, my child." The day of the feast arrived with drums and colors that painted the sky. From every corner of the village, people gathered. Old women with beads jingling at their ankles, young boys carrying baskets, girls wearing fresh palm frond crowns. The chief sat under a red canopy, his robe shimmering like oil under the sun. Mama Gift stood before her clay pot, a queen in her kitchen. Her wrapper was gold and green, her gilly tied like a rising sun. And as she began to cook, a hush fell over the crowd. She moved slowly, gracefully, adding palm oil, stirring, tasting, humming a song that only she and the spirits seemed to know. And as the pot bubbled, a faint glow rose from within, blue and gold, swirling like dancing fireflies. The villagers gasped. Even the chief leaned forward, eyes wide. Then the air filled with a smell so rich, so warm, it felt like love itself. Laughter returned. The drummers began to play again. The children danced. I saw people's faces shine as they ate. Joy, peace, and something sacred I couldn't name. Mama smiled proudly, but her smile looked different this time. Peaceful, complete, like someone who had finished a journey. When the feast ended, everyone was full and grateful. The chief stood and raised his hand. Mama Gift, you have blessed this village again. May your fire never die. The crowd cheered, clapping and singing her name. But as the noise faded, I saw Mama sway slightly. I ran to her side, catching her before she fell. Her breathing was slow, her skin cold. Mama, please stay with me. She opened her eyes, looked up at me, and smiled gently. Do not cry, Amara. The feast is complete. I held her close, tears streaming down my face. The pot beside us glowed brighter and brighter, so bright that the whole yard shimmered with blue light. Then slowly, Mama Gift closed her eyes. The light dimmed. The pot went silent. The next morning, the entire village gathered to mourn and celebrate her. Women sang softly, men stood with bowed heads, and even the chief came to pay his respects. They called her the mother of flavor, the spirit cook, the woman who fed souls. I sat by the pot that morning, numb, staring into its dark surface. The crack that had once been there was gone, but I could see my own reflection trembling inside it. And then just for a heartbeat, I saw her face instead. She was smiling, and behind her I saw my father too, standing in the glow. They were both at peace. That night, after everyone had left, I lit a small fire beside the old pot. The air was still, heavy with the scent of ash and spice. I brought out a smaller clay pot, one that I had made with my own hands. I placed it on the fire, poured water into it, and whispered, "Let this flame never die." As I stirred, I remembered everything Mama taught me. Cook with love. Feed with kindness. Honor the spirits that feed you. The water began to bubble softly, and a gentle light rose from the new pot, faint golden, like the first light of dawn. I smiled through my tears. The gift was alive again, not just in the pot, but in me. A week later, during the evening market, I cooked my first meal for the village. The children came first, drawn by the smell. Then the elders followed, tasting, nodding, smiling. "It tastes like her food," one woman said softly. but also like yours. That was when I knew Mama's spirit was not gone. It had simply moved from one heart to another. The old pot now sits in the corner of our kitchen, quiet and still, watching over me. And every night before I sleep, I whisper, "Thank you, Mama. I will keep feeding them with love."